show that discusses real NBA stories, gives you all the latest rumors, and gets you into heated debates.
It's dunks and layups. How many of his points have been jump shots? 0.
Not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5.
0.
It's not happening. Not in this NBA. Maybe in the fantasy NBA that they're playing it, but not in this NBA.
We're going to challenge each other in practice.
We talking about practice, not a game.
Once the game starts, I mean, it's going to be easy.
You better get off whatever you're smoking.
Strap in, get your popcorn, put your headphones on.
This is Talkin Hoopz.
It's really good to checking out Talkin Hoopz.
Talkin Hoopz, the official talk show of NBA Miami. Talkin Hoopz starts right now.
Talkin Hoopz, TalkinHoops.com. AJ, the legendary Mark Strickland with you for the show. NBRPA Miami chapter, NBRPAMiami.com. Check them out. Lot to talk about tonight. The trade deadline did pass. We'll break down some of the bigger trades, talk about the impacts they will have on their teams. Danny Granger, one of those players being bought out by the Sixers. Could he be headed to Miami? Jason Collins back in the NBA. Big story there. Played his first game against the Lakers on Sunday. We got that. The Knicks, Raymond Felton, having some issues off the court, not just on the court. We got more on that story. They also bought out Meta World Peace and Dino Udre, and it looks like they're coming to terms with forward Earl Clark. But the Knicks, always a big story right now, having a nightmare season. We'll talk about them and Nene and Kendrick Perkins, 2 centers, out for 6 weeks. How will that impact those teams? But Strickland, what's up, baby?
Chilling, man. Chilling.
No Kyle tonight. Kyle's got the night off. No Kyle.
No Kyle.
No Kyle. So I got to tell you, I know we always talk about the weather, but for real, Strick, it's bad here. Like, it's cold. It looks like it's going to snow again. I mean, it was snowing earlier, little flurries. I'm not happy in this. I'm not happy in this weather right now. I wish I was in Miami with you right now.
Yeah, man. I'm here.
Yeah.
I know it's still fun up there. I'm cold for you guys.
Yeah. I'm in the mood for sushi. I mean, you got the best sushi places over there. I mean, it's one of those nights, man. It's just it's one of those nights.
Yeah.
So, all right, big story right now. Raymond Felton. I mean, the whole gun situation, if you didn't know now, he was arrested last night, or I should say early this morning, like 1 a.m. or whatever. Apparently, like, his girlfriend complained. He had, like, a gun pointed at her or something like that. And basically, he's being held with a felony weapons possession. So it's not good right now. It's not good.
Because felony.
Yeah.
Felony big, yeah.
Yeah. And you know, we've seen in the past, ESPN had Plaxico Burress on to talk about his situation with firing the gun off, and I'm sure Delonte West could relate to this situation. This happens. This is not something that's totally new. I'll tell you what, it's surprising that it's Raymond Felton because he's never been known for anything malicious or anything like that. So
those are the ones you got to watch, the quiet ones.
The quiet ones. All right. But this is the last thing probably the Knicks need right now. I mean,
yeah, man, that ship is about to sail, man.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on, man. They're in games and they're losing games at the end. The other night was a heartbreaker against Dallas. That was a real heartbreaker. But Melo's playing well. He seems like he's being consistent. He's focused. J.R. Smith is up and down still. I mean, that's the way he plays, though. He's hot and cold, but he's been playing a little bit better. I love that they inserted Tim Hardaway Jr. into the lineup. I mean, I think that gives them an extra additive punch. You know you're going to always have the defensive player of the year back there blocking shots and rebounding. But as far as everything else, man, it's kind of like a catastrophe going on up there, man. It seems like if they don't turn it around pretty soon here, it seems like they're going to give it up, man, and just kind of cash in the season and see where it goes.
Yeah, and you know what? It's like they're in trouble with the draft because they don't have any picks, so tanking is not necessarily the best thing they should be even thinking of because there's no reason for them to do it. They don't have a draft pick. They couldn't get one at the deadline. They did make some roster space, as we said. They released they came to buyout agreements with Meta World Peace and Bino Udre, who has been in Mike Woodson's doghouse the whole season. That was reported on TalkinHoops.com. Check it out. But we had that article up there. It's been tough for Bino. I think being that he's a solid backup point guard and could be a starter in the league, just not having a good season, not getting consistency with his minutes, and being blamed by Mike Woodson for a lot of issues.
Yeah.
A lot of issues. So I think it was good that they just came to terms with that, and it's probably better for him. Now he could sign on with a team like San Antonio or
Maybe.
Another contender that needs a point guard.
Yeah.
Just make it a better situation for himself.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I mean, right now you look at Carmelo Anthony, you got to think this guy's really considering leaving now in the summer, despite the comments that he wants to stay. I mean, I wouldn't even blame him as a fan if he left at this point. Seriously.
I mean, he kind of don't have any reason to stay. You know what I mean? Why stay there?
Exactly.
Unless he's trying to go through a similar season next year. It's pretty much going to be the same team if he comes back. I just think there's a better fit for him, a better situation for him. I just don't know where though, but I know he can't be leaning towards staying there in New York, man. With what's going on there. I still like Mike Wilson as a coach. I really do, man. It's just somewhere along the way, the players have to develop, like I said, discipline it. Right. You know, with Felton off the court issues. You know, the other night with J.R. Smith pulling the headband down, Vince Carter.
Oh, actually, I didn't know if you knew about that. Wait, we actually.
You know what I mean? Like there's no discipline. Like you keep adding fuel to the fire when you just need to kind of just play hard. Just play hard, man. You don't need to be doing all that kind of stuff, especially when your team is losing.
We have the video.
You're supposed to be winning.
Yep, and actually you'll see it here last night's game against the Mavericks. You can see it right now. J.R. Smith up to his old tricks, just like that for no reason. Harden played it off. He looked like he was taking it as a joke, but still, that's not something you really you want to be doing as is. Being fined once for the shoelaces incident and all that. Now he's probably gonna get fined for this. I would not be at all surprised, but
me neither. Probably be a heftier fine. Just showing you gotta stop doing that.
Did anyone do that when you played? Were people untying?
No, man. Come on, man. I played in the league when men played in the league. These dudes is young, man. You got veterans playing 9, 10 years. They only, 28?
Yeah. Pretty much, yeah.
But it was different. No, nobody played around. It was about winning championships back then, trying to get it.
Yeah, it was more business for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, and now it's just like a show. Guys like J.R. Smith doing all these shenanigans, and it gets to a point where it's ridiculous. And this is the last thing this organization needs. They're already in the spotlight for just being...
Yeah, man, they're getting a lot of spotlight. I think they're going to get a lot more, too, as the season goes on. Thursday night, we'll see what happens, though, down here in South Beach.
Yeah, that's right. I have a feeling Melo's going to drop like 60 points.
Yeah, drop like maybe, again, 42.
And we're gonna.
With an L, you still take an L though.
Yeah, that face mask can't be helping Jr. That can't be helping at all either.
Nah, man, it's it's a mess, man. I feel bad for Mike Wilson because he's getting blamed for a lot of stuff that's really not his fault.
No, it really isn't.
Yeah.
And you can
really
see,
not his fault. Man.
Melo gets blamed for not passing the ball, and it's like, well, who's he gonna pass to? Who's he passing to?
Nobody.
Exactly. So. I think, look, if Melo stays in New York, props to him. I do think if, he sees the long-term picture in New York, 2 years, a year from now, they will have a ridiculous amount of cap space to pretty much do whatever he wants with it. Because at the end of the day, it's you want Melo to stay in New York, you got to do what he wants to do. So
pretty much.
Yeah. So
we think the Knicks will do that. They're kind of stubborn out there in that office. The office is not they changed the people around. Did they change some people around?
Got some new. They got a new general manager. I mean, it comes down to ownership is the same though, and he has his nose in everything. I think he'll do the right thing with Carmelo Anthony and realize that he's got to keep this guy.
Got to.
And for people, it's funny. I had to talk with some people earlier about this.
Yeah.
People are telling me they don't think Melo is capable of winning a ring, and I got to be honest, after seeing him play the way he's played with no team, I
Yeah.
completely disagree. I mean, if you look at LeBron James, you look at Dwayne Wade, you look at Chris Bosh, okay, and we'll talk about your Heat for a little bit. They have a team, okay? They're well coached. They have guys. Carmelo Anthony who's the best player, even in Denver, he's ever played with?
No, he never really had a lot of help. Not a lot of help.
That's what I mean. They're like, well, he never won in Denver. Well, I'm sorry. He didn't play with Dwayne Wade or LeBron James in Denver. You know, he didn't have that kind of help. So, you know, when Dirk played against the Heat in the finals and he won his ring, I got news for you. If the Heat weren't going through that kind of season and LeBron James didn't have that bad cloud around him being the villain, if they played the Heat from the following season where Dwayne Wade said, all right, I'm going to take a back seat, you got to be the guy you were in Cleveland in order for us to be successful, and we're going to help you. And when he did that, all of a sudden, you have a totally different look championship contending team here.
Yeah.
And I don't think the Mavericks would have beaten that team. So I don't even think they win a game against that team, to be honest with you. So
Nah, not with that team.
No.
It's just a completely different team. You know, that team was a bigger team, had more bigger guys on there when they won the championship against Dallas. It just was a completely different look. I mean, now we got like a point forward. I think Dwayne Wade was on the ball a lot then. He averaged like 30-some points that series, so he was really big that series. But he had a lot. You know, he had Lonzo coming off the bench. He definitely had Shaq. He had those type of players out there with him. So, yeah, and then he also had shooters. You know, they had a great team of shooters. You know, you had James Posey. You had those type of guys out there shooting. Gary Payton made a huge shot in I think game 6, I think, or game 7, I think. One of those games, he made a huge jump shot from the right wing.
Right.
So I mean, it was a different little team. This team is much more faster paced, and this team, I think, is built to win championships.
Oh yeah, for sure. And that's what I'm saying. Like, you play this team against that Dallas Mavericks team, I don't see them winning one game. And you know, LeBron James has proven honestly, I don't think anyone could say anything after that dunk. He almost dunked it, but you know, he got hit in the face before the play happened. I know you saw that for sure.
Still finished it.
Still finished it. True.
That's
all
that
a
counts.
warrior. And actually, I saw a highlight of him on the bench. The last game, he hit a shot from like the bench. He wasn't even playing in the game, and he's still making highlights. So, I mean, he's the greatest. I don't think anyone can argue that right now. You know, I think that was also a statement game for himself when he comes out against Kevin Durant. You know, take a back seat just for a second, KD. You're not the best player in the league yet.
Blew them out in their house. Blew them out.
Yeah. It was a good game, but getting back to like Carmelo Anthony, he never had help. And I think, you know, in 2 years, the Knicks could definitely get him help. But right now, they're in no situation at any time.
Why would we want to wait 2 years when he can go somewhere else and team up with somebody?
Right.
Because that's really all he needs. Especially, he needs a team up with a point guard, really not a big.
Right.
Because that doesn't suit him. Maybe a Chris Paul or somebody like that.
Right.
But you know, once he gets with a player like that, a nice guard, him and the 1-2 point, similar to what LeBron has with a 2 guard and Dwayne Wade, and then the rest of the guys are shooters.
Right.
I mean, he has to be in that type of similar system because he's such a dynamic scorer.
No, I absolutely agree, and you know, it sucks because Melo he's trying so hard, and you can't ask a guy to do more. Even honestly, he's averaging 1 block a game this season. He's actually playing defense this year. It's not even. I'm not saying he's a top defender in the league.
Getting boards too, getting rebounds.
Yeah, he's doing it all.
Doing his thing. Yeah, he's doing what he can. He's doing this part.
Yeah, and even that shot against Dirk, like people are like, well, it should never have been Melo on Dirk to begin with. And I don't know. I mean, look,
shot, I mean, he played good D. He gave him a second. I mean, I wish he would have raised his hand up. You know, put his hand up in his face. It might have distracted him a little bit, but it was just a good shot.
Yeah, well,
you know, good defense, better offense.
Yeah, I mean, I see it as a brick, though. I mean, Dirk bricked that shot, and it just, went up, and you're thinking, that's coming out, and it went right straight back down. So that was tough. That was tough. And, again, you know, just what Melo's got to be going through. They're 6 games out of the playoffs right now, but I'll tell you what, Strick, I know it's the East, but the fact that Melo doesn't have a team, if they somehow make the playoffs, something miraculous happens and they make the playoffs,
Yeah.
this guy has got to be considered in the MVP talk. He has to.
They have to win in the playoffs first.
Oh, well, you in order to be an MVP for the season, you have to win in the playoffs.
He got to win, man. His record is bad. I mean, they go out winning records. Steve Nash, when he won it back-to-back, they had winning records.
They did.
They might didn't do a lot in the playoffs, but they had a winning record.
That's true. All right, if you look at it like that, that's true. And I got news
You
for
at
you.
least have a winning record. You can't just go out and score average like 30, 40 points and then expect to get MVP because your team ain't doing that.
Right. Right. But I just see it as the way he goes out there, what he's putting up, the numbers, he's doing everything.
He's balling now. He had a great season, actually. He had one of the best seasons he's ever had, like all-around season, not just scoring, rebounding, assists, playing complete basketball.
That's what I mean. If he had guys, I think the Knicks would be a serious start right now in the league, and they're just not because they don't have a team. So it's just tough. It's tough. But a lot of drama in New York, and then Raymond Felton, all this shenanigans happening with him off the court. It may actually work out in their favor, though, because they tried to move him at the deadline. Nobody wanted him. And, now if he gets arrested and goes to jail or, Kyle and I were talking about this earlier, the Knicks might be able to kind of void his contract and get that money back and be able to do something in free agency. So got to wait and see how that plays out. But he may be coming off the books sooner than people think.
Yeah, they're going to have to, especially since it's a felony. They're going to have to make a decision here soon, I think.
Yeah. So I know also the Knicks are interested. I mean, the Knicks are interested in every player. They're always that team that seems to be connected to just about every name in the league. But Jimmy Fredette is agreeing to a buyout with the Kings. They're working on that deal, and once that's finalized, the Knicks could definitely be in the market for his services. A point guard. They got a guy that could turn out to be a Jeremy Lin story for the rest of the season. He had a great game against them, I think right before the All-Star break. He broke out, had like 25 points. So that's a guy that a lot of teams are going to be interested in, but obviously the Knicks will be looking in his direction. Now, I've been waiting to talk about this, and I'm so mad that Kyle's not here because you and I were going to have a field day right now. A field day. Danny Granger was traded.
Got traded. I told him, man.
Deadline.
I told him.
I said
sit
it
back,
too.
man, and play second fiddle. I mean, they probably went to him, asked him did he want to be a part of it. He said, "No, I want to go somewhere, and play."
Right.
Yeah. So, but this is a good trade for them. I mean, Turner's going to really help them at the guard spot because he can score, plays good defense. It's another added punch for them. They can use that extra arm ball handler. He has a great mid-range game. He's good at penetrating. He can finish over bigger guards. I think the guards that they have now are more shooters, except for Stevenson. He can get in the basket, but Turner will get him another kind of Stevenson-like kind of player to come off the bench. Yeah.
Exactly. That's actually what I was going to say. Yeah. He's kind of like a Lance Stevenson of his own. Yeah. It's just unfortunate that he was playing for the Sixers. Yeah. But people considered Evan Turner a bust since he was the second overall pick, and his numbers, they're not, I don't know if you call him second overall pick worthy, but I don't call this guy a bust by any means. He's a stat filler. 13
he had a rough first season, though, because I watched him the first season. That's the only thing. He had a rough first season, but then after that, man, he's been playing really good ball, especially this year. He's been playing ball, and last year he played well.
He had a solid playoffs for the Sixers when they were in it. His second season, and he was putting up, like, his numbers last year, he was 13, 6, and 5, which is solid. That's just solid numbers.
Yeah. And I think he's going to really help them a lot because he's going to be in a better situation than Philly.
Right.
A better team, a more united team, and they're going to bring him in as like a new brother, and he's going to take on that facade, man, and probably turn his game up even more because he has an opportunity now to win a championship, and sometimes that motivates guys.
Right. And then you look at Lavoy Allen, who was thrown into that deal by the Sixers. He was a pretty solid player also in the playoffs for Philadelphia. A solid big man, a guy that can play behind Roy Hibbert. And if Andrew Bynum turns out to be another head case, at least you have someone to kind of step in and not be a head case and fit that role that they need. So this was, in my opinion, what you and I talked about.
Whoa.
Trade Granger, add the right pieces to your team. I think that's exactly what they did.
And they got a little time to gel with that, too. They got a little time to gel before the playoffs.
Right. So it was the
It's
right.
interesting. It's going to be interesting.
It is.
Granger, he's in Philly, so we'll see what he does with that. I'm pretty sure he'll shoot all the rocks the rest of the season.
Well, it looks
be
like
interested to see what they do with that piece and what other pieces they're going to add to that next season.
Well, it looks like Danny Granger is agreeing to a buyout with the Sixers.
Oh, you told me. You just said that.
Yeah.
So he might be able to go anywhere. He'll go anywhere.
So you're looking the Spurs, you're looking the Heat, you're looking Oklahoma City. I mean, there's options here for this guy. There's just
Hope he don't go to OKC. Ooh.
Yeah. Well, look,
He
hey.
don't have no room there. Where would he play?
Well, I don't know if he wanted to be if it was him that wanted to be traded or if it was the organization said we see an opportunity to get better here, your time, and now he signs with the Heat and that comes back to bite the Pacers in the ass. Like
Yeah, he signed with the Heat. That'll be a major move for us.
Yeah.
Major.
Yeah. And now here's another story. If he does sign with the Heat, LeBron James and Granger have a history of not liking each other. They don't get along.
Let's sweep all that under the rug once he get in his red, black, and white.
Yeah, instantly.
Yeah.
Instantly.
It's over with. You on our team now. You with us.
LeBron calls him up and says, "No hard feelings. You're on our team now."
Yeah, that's over with. That problem's over with right after the game, man. Nobody usually it doesn't carry over after the game.
All right.
Yeah, usually guys kind of nip that in the bud unless you really, really don't like each other or the guy did something to really get under your skin off the court, and then you kind of taking it on the court.
Right.
That type of thing, yeah.
Now, I could see him jumping on with the Heat for the rest of the season, but long term, this guy's obviously he's money. So I don't think next season he's gonna be it's gonna be a rest of the season gig. And
that'd be cool though if he got to the Heat, man. They faced each other in the conference final. That'd be the most watched playoff series ever, probably.
Oh yeah.
Oh, for sure, man. And it'd be the best in the East against the top two teams in the East battling out to go to the championship, man. That's a storybook ending. And the guy playing against a team that traded him, when he was the man and now he's not the man, now he gets with another team that they're facing and preparing for. He could help the Heat out with kind of the strategies and what they were doing because all he was doing was sitting and watching. So we got like an inside source on what was going on. Super.
Right. Now, Kyle comes out after this, and Kyle goes, "Now listen, I still didn't say this is the right move for the team. We don't know how it's going to pan out yet. We don't know if Evan Turner's going to come in and mess this up. You said they have some time to get this thing, down pat and get the chemistry working, but." Kyle's looking at it as it's not set in stone yet. For all you know, Evan Turner could have been the worst move for the Pacers, and they now don't have Danny Granger. So, we'll see what happens. But I think it was a good move. I think on paper it looks nice. They did the right thing, and I think it's
got some good pieces.
Yeah, good pieces. So the Pacers are definitely a team to watch now. It is, like you said.
They're creeping on up slowly. They kind of like sneaking on in there. But still, the Heat are catching them for first place. We're not that far now. What is it, a game, 2 games now?
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Everybody was talking about how Indiana's going to run away with the East. Not now.
Yeah.
No.
What is it? Miami, you got 41. Yeah, you're 2 games away. Yeah, they got 42. You got 40.
2 games. Come on, man. We're going to catch that easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah, well, it's that time. Guys should start getting hungry. I know people said they weren't coasting. But LeBron said in that interview,
turn it up.
LeBron said in that interview, it's hard to motivate guys when they've already been to the promised land twice. To do it 3 times, and you saw that was a great interview. Did you see that interview?
Yeah, that was a good interview.
That was great. But yeah, like he said, that's really the problem. But I think now that the playoffs are around the corner, Heat are gonna step it up. That's motivation enough. Like it's game time.
Yeah, it's time to play. He's playing really well, man. He turned it up. You can tell the last game he turned it up.
Yeah.
So, he's doing what he's supposed to do. The OKC game was kind of a statement game, which I felt like he made his statement in that game.
He definitely made a statement in that game.
Yeah.
Definitely did. All right, let's shift to the Nets now. Big story is Jason Collins back in the NBA after, coming out and saying that he was gay.
Making
history. First of all, Did you play with Collins in New Jersey? Were you there when he was there?
Nah, I didn't play with him in New Jersey. But I don't really have a problem with that gay thing, man. As long as a guy, man, comes in, man, because usually people don't really bring all that into the locker room because you're so focused on on what you gotta do offensively, what you gotta do defensively. You're traveling all the time, so it's like kind of like you focus on the goal the team goal at hand. You're not really paying attention to any of that. I mean, now they're gonna have a media circus, but fortunately for him, man, it's not as bad as the football guy. The football guy, man, they're gonna be watching every move he makes, and
right.
And the basketball world has kind of accepted that already. We kind of already went through that acceptance and wondering what team he was going to play for. Now he's with a team, and people was more open to it. So it was good for him, man. Good for him. It was good to see him play the other night and get signed. I was happy for him.
Yeah. Now, what's bothering me is already and I know it's gonna start. People are gonna wonder why he's not playing, and it's gonna come to the point where, oh, well, they're not playing him because he's gay. And let me tell you something. That is the dumbest thing ever. If anyone knows Jason Collins, and look, the guy's an NBA player, all right? Anyone in the NBA, at the end of the day, you could play basketball. You're a good player. But in the NBA, he's a career 3.3 rebounder per game.
Yeah.
He's their 15th man on the roster. That's why he's not going to get minutes, not because he's gay. So don't be saying that Jason Collins isn't playing because Jason Kidd and Jason Kidd's his former teammate. So give me a break, all right? Enough. If people start calling, it's like, oh, the Nets don't play this guy because he's gay. I swear to God, it's gonna be madness on this show.
That's just somebody trying to keep up with, just trying to keep something going, man. Keep it in the media. Media, man, can be good and media can be bad.
Right.
Gotta sell papers though.
I know before Jason Collins was even announced that he was gay, came out and was open about it. I knew him because he had another 7'1" twin brother in the NBA, a twin.
Yeah.
That's why I knew Jason. I said, oh, he's a twin. Everyone knows the twins, Marcus Morris, Markieff Morris. Everyone knows twins. Brooke Lopez, Robin Lopez.
Yeah.
It's just that, Strickland, if you had a twin, if you were a triplet, you'd be in the Hall of Fame already. Like, you know what I mean? Just because of that. Just because of that by itself.
Twins. Yeah.
Just because of that by itself.
I wonder who's going to be the first set of twins to make it to the Hall of Fame.
Right? Yeah, that's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
And by the way, I don't know this. This is where Kyle's knowledge comes in because I don't start hardcore following college until the tournament starts. But Duke, they got another Plumlee on that team. Is he related to the other two Plumlees in the league already?
I don't know.
I didn't know that either. This is where
Kyle would know that. That's still Kyle. He researched that kind of stuff.
That's a Kyle thing right there. That is a Kyle thing. But I was looking. I couldn't find any information. I'm like, is this because he's big? He's big guy, he's center. I'm thinking like, is this guy related to Miles and Mason?
Maybe they're cousins. Man. Maybe they're cousins.
That happens too. Yeah, actually, I found out LaMarcus Aldridge is David Aldrich's cousin, the reporter.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and then Andre Aldridge, who used to do the NBA TV show Game Time or whatever it was like years ago. He's David Aldrich's brother. He's also LaMarcus Aldrich's cousin. So little family there. Yeah, and he's got to be thrilled. LaMarcus is having an unbelievable year. I mean, that guy's playing out of
All-Star, made All-Star team, finally.
He's an MVP candidate right now.
Yeah, he's playing hard. I don't think he's going to get MVP, but yeah.
Portland's got 38 wins right now.
Yeah, they're rolling, but, there's still a lot of season left. We'll see what happens.
Well, the fact is no one counted Portland to even be in the playoff picture. And this whole team is just playing well. They're
playing well. Yeah, they're playing well. They got a lot of offense. They get up and down. Defense still has to get better, but I like them.
I like the depth on that team.
Clippers' defense is getting better. Tell you, they just beat OKC. That was a scoring game. They just outscored each other. Really, not much defense played in that game.
No, but Blake Griffin. I'll tell you something, man. Blake Griffin makes $16 million a season. Talk about a bargain. I mean, and he's got that for another like 2 or 3 years. He's making that. That is a deal and a half. If I was a GM, that's what I'm looking for. Like Darren Collison could be your starting point guard. He makes $1 million. He makes. I mean, and for the product, look, he may turn the ball over, but for the amount of money you're paying this guy and the production he gives you, that is a great player to have on your roster.
He's a veteran.
Yeah.
He knows the game. He stays in his house. He doesn't do anything that he can't do. He kind of, just comes in, man, and control the ship.
Right.
That's a good player. That's a good role player. Facilitator.
If I'm a GM, I know people like, no, you're taking LeBron James and but let's say let's say you want to build for the future. You want to build an all-around good team. You could definitely start with a guy like LeBron, but that affects your cap. Now you're paying a guy, 20 whatever $million, and you have limited options. You get a guy like Blake Griffin as your first player, power forward, upside, still a young player. His defense is starting to come around. His post game is starting to come around. Okay, $16 million. That's my first pick, believe it or not. Okay, as a GM, thinking cap space here. That's my pick. You know who you know who else I'm bringing on this team straight?
Oh.
Andre Bloch. Another guy that makes like $2 million.
Not disciplined enough off the court. That's why he plays good games, and sometimes he doesn't. He plays well, then he doesn't. Been like that since Washington.
Right.
Not a guy that's consistent with working out. Not a guy that's consistent with paying attention to detail.
Right.
But definitely has a lot of skill.
Right.
He has a lot of skill, and once he focuses and he plays focused, man, he kills.
Right. But when you look at the contract, when you look at $2 million. To me, that's worth it.
You're looking at numbers,
I'm looking at that as, hey, I want this guy on my team. It's not going to kill me, and I can add assets around these guys with the money. I'm telling you, we got to start a team here. Get in the league. We'll take over. We'll be the GMs. We got this, man. We got this. I'm telling you. Blake Griffin. So, but I think Glenn Davis just joined the Clippers. The Clippers are looking nice, man. The Clippers are looking nice.
Well, again, that was a big win for them this weekend. Yesterday. Big win.
Big win for the Clippers. Big win for Doc Rivers. This just shows you this guy is unreal. He can coach anybody.
Their defense is their rotations are horrible.
Yeah.
Once they get that down, they could be I don't know how they're so horrible because they're so long.
Right.
So long and athletic. I don't know how they're so bad. Their rotations are bad. Yesterday, it was just like pick and roll central for OKC.
Yeah.
Pick and roll layup, pick and roll dunk, pick and roll 2 passes, 3-pointer. There's no rotation.
Right.
Like wide open shots.
Right.
But I think they'll get better. Clippers will make a nice little push in the playoffs. They'll be ready by then.
And Doc Rivers has DeAndre Jordan having the best season of his career. His rebounding numbers are unbelievable.
Staying in his house. That's what he's doing. Rebounding, blocking shots, finishing around the bucket. That's all we need you to do.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're getting the right production. This is a team come playoffs. Can they hold it in the playoffs? Can they come to play? Is this going to be like a show where they finish, a top seed in the West and then just fall apart in the playoffs? That's what I'm curious to see. But with Doc Rivers, I don't know. I like, what, are you tired over there, Strick?
Yeah, man, it's been a long day. Got sun down here. We ain't got no snow down here. It's sun. That sun drains you.
Yeah, we can't do anything here.
Yeah, you can't do nothing.
But wait, I want to, all right, so we're on Doc Rivers.
Yeah.
I want to open this up with your Mike Woodson. Mike Woodson, we're in agreement here, too. This is another situation where Kyle really should have been here because he hates Mike Woodson at this point. He's like, this guy, he's not ready for Mike. He was ready for Mike Woodson to go. He thinks he's not good.
He ain't the problem.
Let me tell you something. Woodson managed to win with the Atlanta Hawks when he was with them, ran the offense through Joe Johnson, the same system. They did solid. He went above expectations with that team. Everyone knew that team wasn't good enough to win a championship. Okay, when Doc Rivers coached Ray Allen, Kevin Garnett, and Paul Pierce, they won a championship because look who's on that team. You're talking Garnett, Pierce, and Allen, pretty much right at that last peak of their prime. Get on the court together, make the sacrifices they need. Garnett's numbers dip a little bit. Instead of 26, he's like 18 and 10 that season. Ray Allen playing out of his mind, and Paul Pierce being Paul Pierce. Obviously it helps when you have personnel. Mike Woodson had Al Horford, Joe Johnson, and Josh Smith. Not at all the same big three that the Celtics had. And Woodson managed to get that team to the second round of the playoffs, which was the best in a long time. The Hawks had never been able to do that for a while. So he brings his system to the Knicks. They win 55 games last season, doing the same thing. ISO plays for Melo instead of Joe Johnson. You're doing the best ISO player in the NBA. And now Doc Rivers is looked at as a Hall of Fame coach. He got his ring with the Celtics. And, he's just a very good coach. But people forget. Doc Rivers also coached Tracy McGrady and the Orlando Magic. He didn't do anything with them. Do you blame Doc Rivers for that, though? No.
No.
Exactly. T-Mac didn't necessarily have the help he needed in Orlando. And I think it comes back to Mike Woodson. This is not his fault. He does not have personnel.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think he's a good coach. He's teaching them. He's doing what he can. I mean, it was up to the players to go out and execute.
Right.
I know that he's telling them. I know that he's going over defensive road. That's it with the Knicks. Their rotation and the discipline with shots. But like you said, man, who is Melo going to pass the ball to?
Right.
Like when he passed the ball, I mean, some people hit shots, man, flow shots, shots in transition. Maybe they move the ball on the half court, which is rare. You'll knock some other guys will knock down some shots, but most of the other players on the team are scoring in transition.
Right.
So I think the ball needs to move a little bit more from side to side, and like I said, man, until they get disciplined on defense, start gambling so much, going for passes that they know they can't get, until they clean up that type of stuff, I think, they're going to keep having the same result, and people are going to keep blaming Mike Woodson when it's not Mike Woodson's fault because he got players that do not pay attention to detail.
Right.
Just that simple.
Right. And now, when I'm comparing Doc Rivers' team here with Orlando, think about this, okay? Your former Heat player, Mike Miller, got Rookie of the Year with Orlando, okay?
Yeah.
So it was Tracy McGrady and Mike Miller because Grant Hill was injured pretty much his whole stint with Orlando. He really didn't play that much.
Yeah.
You know? So
Doc got different play. I mean, in Boston, man, when you got somebody like Garnett, man, he really didn't have to. He's a locker room takeover. He's like a locker room leader and a defensive leader. Very verbal, very much, kind of the person that everybody follows as far as mentality goes. He doesn't have that type of caliber player with that type of mentality on the Clippers. So it's different for him now. In Orlando, he really didn't have any bigs. Like, I don't think that team I think they had like a Michi, those type of guys on the team, those type of bigs. So they really just had, like a couple of shooters and T-Mac.
Yeah.
So,
that's what I mean. But look at this. You had T-Mac and Mike Miller, okay?
And Patrick Ewing. They had Patrick Ewing.
Right, well.
Against that team. I was in Atlanta with the team.
Yeah.
Patrick Ewing.
At the end of his career, though.
Yeah, I'm just saying. He was on that team, though.
But look, all right, but I'm saying, so Melo has Tim Hardaway Jr.
Yeah.
How much different is he than Mike Miller at that point in his career? He's a spot-up three shooter, all offense. And, look, Junior's going to be a good defensive player when he gets a little stronger. He's there in his sets. He's going to be a good player. But I'm seeing Melo and Junior, McGrady and Mike Miller. Very similar. Not a lot of pieces around those two guys. And that's the only guy he's passing the ball to.
Yeah. He's the only one that's capable of making shots right now. Sometimes J.R. Smith does. He's a little erratic, but Junior's playing well, man. I think he's a perfect fit for him because once he learned the defensive end, he might be the person that could kind of be that defense and stop it like Shumpert was. But Shumpert, I think, is not really fully healthy. And once he got injured, his jump shot just kind of went out the window. I mean, he was shooting the ball lights out before he got hurt.
Actually, while we're on Shumpert, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
The trade deadline, just coincidentally, he gets injured like the day he's put into a trade.
Yeah.
You think, and people reporting that he could be out like 6 to 8 weeks because it was his knee, and it's like that whole thing that, he had originally tore. I think he tore his ACL once, like against the Heat, like 2 seasons ago. So that same knee or that same area, that same leg that he supposedly like tore his MCL this time, whatever it was, it came back that now he's only going to be out like 7 to 10 days. I mean, did he like do this because he didn't want to get traded somewhere? Is that happening? Do guys do that?
Sometimes people do it. They don't want to move. They don't want to leave. Like, no, you're not trading me. I'm hurt.
Wow. So that's like that happens.
Yeah, it happens, man. Sometimes, man, people get heads up like, hey, man, I got to get injured. They're not going to trade me if I'm injured. So, I don't know, man. Maybe they wanted to keep him. Maybe it was something in-house. You never know. Yeah. You never know. Wow. You never know, man. Smart move, you ask me. Get to stay in the same place all season. Then make his own decision in the all season.
Oh, man. Iman Shumpert, let me tell you. That could have been brilliant for him, too, because if he really didn't want to leave New York, if he's comfortable, I mean, 7 to 10 days he's out. That's if something surfaces, man, I don't even know. I don't even know. The only guy that fakes an injury to not get traded. That's funny. All right. We got two big things. We talk about Kendrick Perkins, Nene. Perk, the big guy in OKC. How much of a hit is this for them?
Not a big hit. They're getting back. He's just a 6 fouls guy, man. He gets maybe like 4 or 5 points. Then they sit him down. I mean, for a minute, he wasn't even playing. I saw like a couple of weeks before the All-Star game. He wasn't getting no minutes.
Right.
I think it was because of matchups. I think the teams that were playing were a little faster, and I don't think he matched up well against them. But he doesn't miss them. They got Serge Ibaka and they got Westbrook back. That actually gives Westbrook a little bit more time to kind of work his way back in. And then they play Lamb. He's been playing a lot. They get some more minutes with him. What's the guy from Kansas? I want to say Collison.
Nick Collison. Nick Collison.
Yeah, I like him. He's he's at the tail end of his career, but he comes in and does pretty well. I mean, he can do what Perkins can do: give up 6 fouls, make a few layups, man, get some boards, and then they're going to their other rotation. So they're not missing much. I mean, he's a big piece to them, but not that big of a piece where they're going to miss a step offensively or defensively. He's just a big space eater.
Yeah, and of course, Shaqtin' a Fool is going to be a little less exciting because, well, Kendrick Perkins kind of became the new face of that whole like, I guess, part of the show because JaVale McGee was injured for the rest of the year, and now Perkins injured, so I don't know who they're going to pick on now.
I don't know.
We got to get our own Shaqtin' a Fool segment here. We got to do something like that.
Yeah.
We definitely got to do something like that. I watched.
You got to think of that.
I watched some of those plays and like JaVale McGee like jumped on a guy's shoulders like.
I saw that. Like he was horseback riding.
And my favorite is still the Chicago Bulls. There was one. I wish I could pull it up, but one sequence against New York. They had 5 guys on the court and no guy inbounding the ball, and the ref blows the whistle and they all start moving, and then of course they show the coach's reaction, and you just see Tibbs just like, what the hell? Like, what are you guys doing? Like, what is that?
Call it Talkin Hoopz tune clips.
Oh, we're gonna get something like that going. All right, and then Nene for Washington. Now, see, this is to me a big hit because
but he's always hurt. He been hurt all since 3 seasons. He been hurt. He played like good for about 3, 4, 4 or 5 games, and then he's out. He's like the Steven Jackson of basketball, man.
I mean, yeah, you could look at him like that, but with the Wizards, they're 5th in the East right now with a record of 28-28. I mean,
that's a big hit for them.
That's what I mean. Like that's a big hit for them.
That's a big hit for them. They need him in that middle because the guards are playing really well now.
Yeah.
The guy that was in the 3-point contest, he's playing really well.
Bradley Beal
with John Wall.
Yeah.
What is it? Beal. Bradley Beal.
Bradley Beal.
Yeah, he's playing well, man. Shooting the ball real well for him. He's going to be an up and rising star. I think he's capable of being somewhat like the guy from the Pacers, Paul George. But that's a big hit for him. They're going to need him back ASAP. But he can come back as long as I think they can hold down the ship until he comes back. Once he comes back and get his timing back, I think they'll make a nice little push for the playoffs.
Yeah. The one guy I really like on Washington, which to me is really their X factor, is Trevor Ariza. When this guy plays well, they win games. And I wish he played well more consistently, but he's another stat filler. He gets block shots. He's lanky.
Yeah.
He's got that like Tayshaun Prince build to him. He's got those like long arms. Yeah. And actually, we were running.
And he has the experience. He has a couple of championships. So.
Yeah, that's right with the Lakers.
Right? He has the experience. That's a nice little piece for him. They was playing well. I like their 1, 2, 3 punch.
Yeah.
With Ariza at the 3, Bradley Beal, and John Wall. That's a nice starter kit for him. Really nice.
They still got Gortat.
Yeah, Gortat is nice. He finishes around the basket. He plays really well. I liked him in Orlando. I can't believe they got rid of him. He was an excellent backup for Dwight Howard. He come in, played 20-some minutes, and still have about 18 points.
He didn't want to be there.
Yeah, he wanted to play more minutes. That's how it is sometimes, but.
It's like a Zeke right now.
I like him.
Dwight Howard is doing.
He'll get more touches now, don't you think?
Oh yeah, but Dwight Howard is doing exactly what he did to Gortat in Orlando is happening to Zeke. Man, this guy's got to now take a back seat, and Zeke had like a career year last year. He was like 13.
Yeah, it's a shame, man. They want this going to trade, buddy, or they didn't trade him. That's sad. He's stuck there, miserable.
That's another team that's starting to get it together too. Houston is looking much better. Like they're
Every time I think that, man, they go in and lose like Golden
Right.
State. They got to beat those type teams. Or they go in and lose to Portland.
right.
Or that something like that, man. Those are teams they have to beat. Portland. They got to beat Golden State. They got to beat those type of teams.
Yeah.
You know, they got to find a way to beat the San Antonio Spurs and those type teams. OKC. They're going to have to be able to compete with OKC.
Yeah.
So, I like them, but not yet. Not yet.
Yeah.
Not high on them yet. Not yet.
Yeah. Right. What do you got? Flowers behind you? What is that? What
Oh, yeah, that's a nightstand.
that? Oh, okay. Look at
Bed behind me, jersey, nightstand.
Got you. I'm looking. I like this. This is get to
Yeah,
know straight.
look.
Get
I give it
to
up.
know
Look.
straight. No, I like the flowers. Bring the flowers back. I like the flowers. It's a good set in there. Yeah. I just got a big logo. I just got the court behind me.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, you good though.
Yeah.
Because studio-ish.
Right. That's right. If you saw this, let me tell you, we have this is like $1 million studio. Let me tell you. You don't even know. It's unbelievable. All right. Howard Stern studio doesn't look as nice as this. You guys just can't see it, but that's the truth.
Yeah.
Howard Stern studio doesn't even look as nice as this.
Looks nice.
I got to get some flowers though. I got to add that touch in.
Yeah, man. You get at least a candle.
So, coincidentally, had to talk to you about this. So we were talking about Ray Allen and everything. Guess what movie was on TV the other night?
Oh.
He Got Game.
Oh yeah, it's been on a few times. I don't watch it, but
Yeah.
it's been on a few times. Jesus Shuttlesworth.
Yeah, Kyle and I were talking about it because Walt Clyde Frazier, and this is why I want to talk to Ray Allen about this too. Walt Clyde Frazier still gets a 10-cent check in the mail for Eddie every time that movie plays. You know Eddie? He was with Whoopi Goldberg. So I was that movie's been on a lot. So Ray Allen must be racking in the dough.
Yeah, he must be racking up, man. He got to. Maybe we can get him on, try to get him on. We gotta look at their schedule, see if they play next Tuesday. Maybe next week we can get him.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep pushing that.
Yeah. Ray. Jesus Shuttlesworth. Oh yeah, I want to know if they're making a He Got Game 2 when Ray retires. I want to know what's going on with that because
that'd be cool if they did that. And when his dad gets out of jail, that'd be a super movie.
That's right. That's right.
And he has a son. And he teaches his grandson. See what happens.
Yeah. No, and Kyle's obsessed with this movie. I've never seen a bigger fan of this movie than Kyle, man. That's it. God.
Such a New Yorker.
Oh, for sure. I mean, he's Brooklyn, man. He's Brooklyn. Brooklyn in the house every night. Not tonight.
That's New Yorker, man. This dude is New York to the bone.
Yeah. No, he is for sure.
Yeah.
He's all excited. He got his little apartment all decorated now, so everyone can see that. He's all his pictures.
Yeah.
I'm so bummed. Like of all the nights that he's off, it's just like I wanted him to come on so we could just rip him a new one about Danny Granger. I was like all prepared for
we'll
this.
get it next week. Maybe Danny Granger have a couple of games on his belt. Maybe bad ones. We can roast him. I doubt it, though. I'm interested to see how he plays in Philly, though, because Philly's a rough place to play.
Well, he's not going to play in Philly.
Oh, yeah, you saying he's going to sign up? He might be down here on South Beach. I keep forgetting that he's on opt out.
He's done. He's not going to play in Philly. He's not going to play there.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean...
He comes here, that'd be super.
The Sixers, they made some moves, but nothing too crazy. Honestly, the next big trade, I think, behind Danny Granger...
Jason Terry.
Yeah, that's right, Jason. And he's not playing this season. He's getting surgeries. He's not even playing the rest of the season.
Really?
Yeah, it's just gonna. So that trade ended up being for this year. Evans.
Jason Terry.
Reggie Evans for Marcus Thornton.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Basically.
I'm still not thrilled with the Nets, man. Everyone's like, "Yo, they turned the corner. They're much better." I'm not sold on them. I could see them getting eliminated first round of the playoffs.
Oh, easy.
Easy.
Yeah, man. Darren Williams hasn't been the same since he's been there, man. You know what I mean? I don't know what's going on. Ever since Avery Johnson got fired, he hasn't been the same.
Yeah.
He came there with a new attitude. He was playing well. Then all of a sudden he got injured. Then he came back. Then he started beefing with Avery Johnson. They didn't see eye to eye. And then when Avery Johnson left, you know, he's been hurt ever since, man.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going on with the Nets. No, I'm not sold on the Nets here. They got a lot of work to do, man. A lot of work.
The other thing that's mind-blowing to me, and actually you could probably relate to this better than anybody right now, but how does Kevin Garnett in literally one season just overnight lose his game completely. Just kind of like go literally down. I mean, the guy's averaging like 4 points
Father
a game.
Time, man. No, you can't beat him. Father Time is gonna catch you.
In one season like that,
man. Yeah, I mean he's getting wide open shot, and these people not even guarding him now on the jump shot. They like walking out to him. They're not even closing out hard.
Point blank layups.
Yeah.
I mean, tip-ins, easy tip-ins he's not making. And I'm in shock. And look, tremendous amount of respect for KG. He's still like one of the greatest to ever play basketball. But I don't understand how certain things like tip-ins and stuff, you just can't do it anymore. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah, KG might be at the end, man. It might be the end of his reign.
You know, we're talking about Ray Allen calling it quits soon, Kevin Garnett calling it quits soon. This is showing my age. Now I'm feeling old because this is when I started watching basketball. You know, I'm not supposed to feel like this. I had my quarter-life crisis already, and now it's like, give me a break. Like, these guys are all retiring. These are the guys that I grew up like idolizing. Who are you watching when you weren't in the league yet? You're at Temple.
Dominique, man. Dominique. Then we watched the Lakers. My team, with the Lakers. The Lakers with Perkins though.
Right.
That Laker team. That was a nice team. Then of course, Mike and the Bulls. I mean, they took.
Your idol.
They was man. They had a nice run. Like the Pistons. I used to like the Pistons, the Bad Boys when Zeke was on the team, and Dennis Rodman Dennis Rodman was normal, and I like that squad. That's about it, man. I ain't really watched too many teams, but Dominique Wilkins was my man.
You still have the best quote on our show, I think, of all time. When we first talked to you. When we first talked to you, you talked about Michael Jordan. Do you remember what you said?
About fouling him.
Yeah. The first time you entered a game.
Man, come on, man. That's Michael Jordan.
You got to keep telling this story. It's a great story. We got to keep telling this story because, like, when we first had you on, we have some new listeners now. They got to know the deal.
They got to know, man, the first time I played Michael Jordan, man, I got in the game and I fouled him.
Why'd you
Just so I can say I fouled Michael Jordan. And years later, I blocked the shot maybe like twice, and then that was it.
See, my favorite player growing, and look, everyone knew Michael Jordan. You know, it was a big deal when he retired, obviously, the greatest player of all time, retiring from basketball. But you got to remember, from my era, who I grew up watching, and as a Knicks fan, it was Allen Houston. Allen Houston was my dude.
Hey, he burned us one year, man. I don't like Allen Houston.
That's right. I forgot. That's right. He did. You were there.
He burned right at the end. That was my second year here. Second season here.
You still don't like Allen Houston because of that?
Nah, he cool. I seen him at the White House basketball camp in Atlanta, and we kind of chopped it up, laughed about it for a minute. But I still say, man, I still don't like you because you burned us.
You know what he's doing now?
He's like, what, something with the Knicks?
What is he? He's the assistant general manager. They're grooming him. Looks like to take over as GM eventually.
He might. I seen him bring Larry. I see Larry Johnson there a lot. Like, is he working for the Knicks now as well?
Yeah, he's. I think he's in charge of the player development. I think he's doing something with that, or he's in charge of the scout. He's got some decent position with them.
Yeah.
And then of course, here's another thing. And look, not to knock Herb Williams. He's been an assistant coach of the Knicks for a long time, but. You got like guys like Charles Oakley and Patrick Ewing that want to be an assistant coach on your team. The Knicks have, and look, Herb's Herb. You know, it's kind of like he's just been with us through every coach. But you got to think that it's not like the Knicks have won anything with him. I'm just saying, like, you got a guy like Patrick Ewing and Charles Oakley who've been dying to get assistant coaching positions with the Knicks, and they won't. They're keeping Herb. They're keeping Herb. I don't get it.
I don't know, man.
I don't get it.
I don't know. I told you I dislike the Knicks when they got rid of Patrick Ewing, the way they just shipped him out of town to Seattle. Right. That was terrible.
Yeah.
No thank you, no good luck, just burnt play.
He still loves the organization.
You went to Seattle. Bye.
He still loves the organization, though. He loves it.
Yeah. He gonna be professional about it.
Yeah. All right, we got to start wrapping up the show here. But man, so much happened. I hope this Ray Felton thing gets worked out sooner, later. J.R. Smith, stop pulling people's headbands and untying shoelaces. Grow up already. Seriously. All right, and we'll see you on Thursday for sure. Showdown of the century. We're going to get blown out. Talkin Hoopz, talkinhoops.com. NBRPA Miami chapter, NBRPAMiami.com. For AJ, for Mark Strickland, For Kyle, who's not here, we'll catch you on the rebound.
Until Talkin Hoopz comes back into play, stay connected by getting at us on iTunes. Keep up to date with all the latest basketball news and rumors and check out all our shows by logging on to talkinghoops.com.
Catch you on the rebound.